With the midterm elections approaching, we wanted to provide an opportunity for state and federal candidates to discuss their values and reasons for seeking elected office. So the question is, have you already made up your mind, or are you open to a conversation with a candidate about their values, strategy, and their commitment to stay true to their stated positions once in office?
So it's time to pass the torch, and we are ready to serve. We are ready to take it on with energy and integrity and get stuff done.
My name is Jim Connor. Welcome to Game Changers Silicon Valley. I'm pleased to have Rishi Kumar, a candidate for California's 16th district in the House of Representatives, which includes a large part of Silicon Valley. Rishi, welcome to the show. Let me say right away that I've been very impressed with the positions you have posted on your website. You list your top priorities, which are to clean up Washington politics. That's a broad order, but I'd like to open and ask you to give us some details about how you would do that.
Today we have big challenges in Washington, and one of it is congressional insider trading. And we have politicians who stay forever. It's a very lobbyist-driven agenda that we are seeing in Washington. And there are a lot of wrongs that are happening there that need to be fixed, and that's my agenda.
Well, lobbyists seem to have tremendous power. Of course, I was looking at the research prior to our interview, and this incumbency is amazing. 95% of all incumbents in general over the last 30 years get reelected. Huge advantages. You're a challenger, and this is not your first rodeo. You challenged before, but you have increased your voter participation quite a bit. I mean, voter approval quite a bit. But going up against lobbyists, let me suggest, I want to hear more, but I would think you might want to lay low and get a read of the land first, or are you going to go right at it?
Well, we are like a Silicon Valley upstart. We believe in jumping in and giving it all.
Okay.
And essentially, we are here to fix challenges and problems. I'm a little bit of an anomaly of a politician, because someone like me from the world of tech doesn't run for Congress. And so we have some very unique insights, ideas. We understand the innovation economy, and we are all about getting things done. So jump in, and our forefathers, they always wanted not career politicians. They wanted farmers, teachers to jump in, blacksmiths to jump into political service, serve for a few years, make a big impact, and then go back to what they are doing.
Mm-hmm. That is true. I've read that, and I firmly believe we should have more professional diversity. I use that term. Have everybody, whether it's business people, all professions, some dentists, some doctors, some optometrists, maybe give them some free eye exams so they can read the laws correctly, things like that. And I think it would bring out really a much healthier debate than these legalistic arguments and politically driven attacks on both sides, I will say, because I see it on both sides. But I want to address some of your issues. You've got quite a list here, and I think one of the big ones is education. We talked briefly about that. I wasn't aware until you sat down here a few minutes ago that you've been a strong proponent of early education in STEM. Is that correct?
Correct, absolutely. I was very honored to be on the California Department of Education Computer Science Strategic Implementation Panel, and we have rolled out a K-12 curriculum for every public school child in California. They will be studying elements of computer science, and it started this fall. We were at it back in, I think, 2019, and it went live now, and I'm very, very delighted that we'll give the STEM opportunity to every child in California, every public school child.
Is it an option for a school to do it, or is it something they must do?
They must do, because this is part of the curriculum now.
All right, so every public school then is going to have a STEM curriculum, is that correct?
Computer science learning curriculum.
Oh, I should say computer science, very good. And does it start at truly grade first?
Kindergarten.
Really? Well, that's going to be a fascinating outcome.
So the teachers were at it, they were going through the training program. So lots of work has gone behind the scenes. And I'm super delighted it's going live now.
That's great. Well, congratulations on that. A couple other big issues that you have listed here are housing's a big one, and exodus of Silicon Valley. And those are kind of tied together. People can't afford to live here anymore. We have had a great, innovative society, literally, but nobody's going to come here now under these housing conditions. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think we need to have housing by transit centers, by the Mountain View Caltrain station, by Palo Alto. We need to build housing. And that's really where we can pack a lot of density. But then when you look at the far-flung suburbs that do not have the jobs, it becomes very hard to push housing. And what I'm actually against is the nexus between the real estate developers and Sacramento politicians. And they have rolled out policies in California that have preempted local city council. I'm not against that because I call it the historic California land grab. We need to design an urban economy based upon the essential components of urban planning, which is housing, traffic, schools, sewers, water. We don't have any water and we are in a perpetual drought. There is no plan, but we talk about building housing. So my approach is to solve the transportation problem. And if you did that, then if you cut down the time of travel from Stockton to San Jose to 20 minutes, now you have created tons of affordable housing. So I have slightly different viewpoints. Pragmatism, yes, we need housing by transit centers, but we also need to design a mega Silicon Valley concept that will not only grow the economy, but also fix the challenges of housing, traffic, homelessness.
Some of the people I work with, they are living out in near Stockton. They haven't gone all the way to Stockton. There's a few of the cities out there, and they're also moving down to Gilroy. And I recently, because of a project we did over the summer, needed to drive to Los Banos. And I drove down 101 for several days, actually over 3 weeks. Traffic coming up, complete gridlock. And I just have no idea how, I mean, I did drive in traffic when I was working a regular job, but it's exhausting, complete waste of gas, which we have problems with anyhow. And it's just very inefficient use of time. So it would seem to me that Sacramento should be able to say, well, we have a couple transit corridors. We're going to build something, a train, high-speed train, whatever, Gilroy to San Jose, San Jose to Stockton, with stops along the major cities.
And New York Times had the high-speed rail coverage just like yesterday. It's a big disaster. It failed completely. I mean, it's from the middle of nowhere to the middle of nowhere, and that's where they start. This is the disastrous policies of our state. And we are in the midst of an exodus. There are venture capital investors who are going to Miami, and the technologists are going to Austin. Companies are moving out. They are no longer hiring here. We do not want to be like the Detroit in the 80s,
I hadn't thought it'd be that serious, but I have seen a huge exodus. Also,
we lost a congressional district this year.
Yeah.
We trimmed it down by one. Florida, Texas, they have gained. So we are losing, that's for sure. Now people say good riddance, but look, we need this is a vibrant economy. 45% of the revenue of the state of California comes from Silicon Valley. You cannot compromise on the economy of Silicon Valley, and we need to continue to attract the best talents here.
very good. I would like to touch on two more big ones right here. One is water or drought, whichever way you want to look at it, and the other will be homelessness for the moment. But let's talk about the water situation. Some people say state has not built water infrastructure, dams, whatever. You have. Other people say, hey, it's all about climate change and the plant's cooking up, we're going to have less rain. Where do you come down on this particular perspective or this particular problem?
So we are sitting right here in one of the most affluent communities of the United States, the most affluent congressional district, the best of brains, the best of minds, the best of innovators right here in Silicon Valley. I'm going to harness that to solve these types of problems. We need to look at desalinization. We need to look at water filtration plans. We need to approach it from a standpoint of pragmatic decisions. We cannot export the alfalfa grass from California. So we need to make some good choices. And we need to expand the reservoirs. The plan is on my website, rishikumar.com/water.
Well, another very prevalent visual situation is the degree of homelessness, and I've been corrected recently, and someone has informed me it's called the unhoused, which I'm fine with that. Do you have any thoughts? I mean, we have a mental issue, we have a drug issue.
Those are the top two challenges, basically. We need to address them. I don't believe in throwing money at the problem because you never really solve them. You have to get through their mental illness. You have to address the drug challenges. Give them a place to stay, a 90 days, 6 months, whatever it is. And we have to get them a job. We have to find them in a place to stay, rent an apartment, get them job interviews, a shave, a haircut, a resume, all that kind of stuff. It's part of my plan, rishikumar.com/homelessness.
Okay. Healthcare, let's just touch base on that. You've been an advocate, as I read, about Medicare for all, and there's a lot of people who don't like that. They like their personal insurance and so on. Are you a hybrid? Do you say keep your personal insurance, or are you a total Medicare for all person?
Well, I'm an absolute Medicare for all. And the reason why people say it's socialist a little bit, but would you call public school education socialist?
No.
And many of the developed nations of the world, America is the only one which does not have a Medicare for all system. And Canada and United Kingdom, I knock on a lot of doors. Every evening I'm talking to people. And I meet a lot of Europeans and they tell me, the first question when I see them is like, what do you think of Medicare for all? And like, it's a no-brainer, come on. There are kids dying in this country because they don't have health care. In the most powerful nation of the world, there are kids dying. So it's time for Medicare for all.
Would that lead to the conclusion that the ACA Affordable Care Act was not adequate, did not cover people? I had the impression that that was essentially going to be the gap, or would take care of the issue of people that didn't have insurance and had problems in medical and whatever. Did it not work out that way?
The short answer is no, and I think Americans are left at the mercy of healthcare industry. And you look at our politicians in Washington, talk about cleanup of Washington politics. They are kowtowing the healthcare industry. And right here in our congressional district, right here, we have a representative who has accepted $4.2 million in the lifetime and has actually legislated in favor of pharma. So we have to stop this. We have to stop this. And one way to do it is to take matters in our own hands with Medicare for all.
Well, you've taken me into the incumbent here, Anna Eschoo. So she's been here a long time, 30 years, elected 1992 or 93, I believe, and she's up there in age. And what is your position? Is it, and let me mention, I'll preface this, I kind of lean towards, gee, after 30 years, it might be time to pass the torch. I mean, I think a lot of people would say that. And I looked at some of the ages of other people's Senate. Man, we got some senators at 87, 88, 89, and Dianne Feinstein, and this is pretty old to be, in Congress trying to read this stuff and take a strong position. Let me ask you, how do you feel about Anna Eschoo? She's a friend of yours maybe, or you know her, correct?
Well, yes, we know each other politically.
Okay, that's respectable, right? Okay.
I do respect her. 44 years in political office. She's been there for a long time.
What was prior to Congress? Was she city mayor or something?
County supervisor.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. But 30 years in Congress alone is a pretty good shot too. All right. I'll just say this. I really felt that Anna was about ready to step aside. Now, we had some other guests on who were running in the Democratic primary, and they told me that there is a pecking order lineup behind Anna when and if she does retire one of these days of who will be nominated next within the Democratic power structure. Is that accurate?
Yep.
Okay. Are you in that line next, or were you outside that line?
I think I'm last in line.
You're last in line? How does that happen?
Even after the other guys who came here, I respect them. We were very honored to beat 6 formidable candidates in the primary elections. But when you challenge an incumbent, they throw everything at you, and they make things difficult. But as a mechanical engineer, I've developed a thick skin, and we are at it. We believe we are going to win this race now.
What's the strategy to win then?
Well, it's very simple, because like you said it yourself, Jim, it's time to pass the torch. There are too many burning challenges ahead, and America wants change. And Dianne Feinstein is feeling a lot of heat right now because nobody wants politicians. People are talking about age limits, term limits, everything. And you look at the polling that we conducted back in late August, Anna Eschoo has dropped to 35%, and she used to win election hands down with 70% of the votes, 72%, 74% of the votes. So when she's down at 35%, it's going to be very difficult for her to rise up.
One issue you did touch upon was the raising of money. She's raised a lot of money, as you said. And the number you quoted, I believe you said $4 million. That's over her career, and $1.2 million as a healthcare. It came from the healthcare industry.
4.2 million from the healthcare industry, and 1.4, 1.7 from pharma, I think.
Okay, but you've taken a very independent approach. You've gone out and said, I'm not taking money from special interest groups or PACs. Or I got to give you all the credit for it, but you're up against a pretty formidable machine. How are you going to do this?
Yeah, we have spent about 1.2 million in this race so far, and every dime came from people. And there are politicians in this country that are looking to change the culture of Washington. And we don't have to go very far. We just have to look at Ro Khanna, and he has done that. He did that when he was running for office, and he continues to reject the PAC money. And that's my pledge. I will never change that. We will always, next year, January 2023, we get sworn in. My policies will not change. I will always and forever reject the PAC money, the tainted dark money that is polluting American politics, subverting the agenda of the American people.
I don't know if it's still accurate, but at one point a few years ago, approximately, I don't know the number exactly, 30, 40, or 50% of all CEOs were from other countries in Silicon Valley for startup technology.
Yeah, well, that's the nature, because I think Silicon Valley has attracted the best of talents. Initially, they came from the Midwest, like Larry Ellison, Scott McNeely, and people have come from all parts of the world. In my city of Saratoga, we have so many internationals. We had a big rally on Sunday, and we had quite a few CEOs who showed up there, and many of them spoke with an accent like me. And we still attract the best of talents from all across the world, but that is drying up because we have some huge problems here in Silicon Valley. We need to fix that.
We see daily reports about this war in Ukraine, Russia invading, what have you. And it's not terribly salient to or important to your campaign right now, but I thought I'd ask you your opinion about that. I've wondered, this whole saber rattling by Russia and so on like that, and the ferocity and the determination of the Ukrainians to take back or hold on to their country is amazing. Do you have any thoughts you want to share?
Yeah, I'll fight for peace, actually. So we have a policy, fight for peace, because we need to create an economy. We need to educate. We spent, $10 trillion in Afghanistan and Iraq over 20 years, and nothing much came out of it, a big zero. And if we had spent that on education, we would probably have changed the life of young kids out in Afghanistan and Iraq. So I don't believe, we have to come to the table, there is a threat of a nuclear warfare right now. It's just sad. We need to get beyond it. We need to create world peace. And America is to blame too, because we have been the big brother, and we have been meddling in different countries of the world. And, we just need to define a policy agenda which is based upon economic growth and education. Simple. We need to spread this wealth and education and learning across the world and build harmony. That's what we need to do.
You really answer a lot of my questions. I very much appreciate your time. You're quite innovative, and what I've noticed about you is you can think on your feet. I like that. It's very encouraging, because when you're in Congress, you're going to hit with all kinds of people, all kinds of questions, and I watch television enough to see that some politicians cannot think on their feet. They can only read prepared notes. So congratulations there. Any other final comments you'd like to make?
Oh, it's great to be here, Jim. And we have never had a tech-savvy leader ever in a million years of Silicon Valley, and we could fix that now. And we believe we are poised to win this race. And we just had a debate with Anna Eschoo. It was a candidates forum, and we really enjoyed the discussion, and we getting some very solid feedback. So it's time to pass the torch, and we are ready to serve. We are ready to take it on with energy and integrity and get stuff done.
Well, Rishi, I want to thank you for coming in. I want to wish you every success in your campaign going forward.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us in this episode. If you gained insights from this conversation, share it with your network. You can comment or view the complete library of all shows at our website, gamechangers.tv. And most important, remember to vote no later than Tuesday, November 8th, 2022.